So for those of you that don't know, this is Megan. Hi, Megan. I'm Deb with Queerstrology, and what I do is I do astrology without the gender binary in it, but also very fact-based. So what I use is uh, like the thought of that astrology doesn't tell you you have to do something or you can't do something. It's about giving you the chance to understand yourself better so that you can get some what's it called when you get like that relief, that validation. There we go. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
So so you can get some validation and also like put your intentions in the right area, right? Because you can't help how you were made. This right? Because you can't help how you were made. This right here is a picture of the sky at the time that you were born. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So and we're earth centered. So we're earth centered in this. And that's where all of these things were at that moment that you're born. So therefore, they're your particles and how you have entangled with these objects. Okay.
They're mine. I bought them. Just kidding.
That's right. Exactly. But before we go into reading every part of this, let me talk about overall what we're looking at here. So what we're seeing is all these 12 signs right here. And all of us have all 12 signs in our chart, okay? But what they represent in the sky are constellations. So there's like 88 total constellations, right? So imagine you're like at a planetarium and you're looking up and you can see all the stars.
Yeah.
Well, the zodiac ones are on a particular path. Now they don't move. We do. We rotate. Earth rotates, right? So where these particular constellations are this strip called the ecliptic, which is fairly close to the equator, and it's the backdrop for where all the planets move. So it's like their path, their running path that they go by.
Okay.
So that's why these are the particular ones that we use in astrology, all right? And they are mascots for a point of time, or for a season, if you will. Now, that being said, whatever is rising in the east at the moment that you're born, which in your case is Gemini, right?
Period.
That is the constellation that was rising in the east, literally at the moment you were born. So it goes through all of these in 24 hours. So every 2 hours, there's a new rising sign that's coming around. All right. So
Wow.
these are the personalities. So, like what people mostly think of in astrology, that's what the signs are representing in astrology, but they come from the sky. So, the reality of where these things are sitting, right?
Okay.
In the middle, you'll see there's numbers 1 through 12 right there. Those are the houses. So this is the part of your life that something happens. All right. And we'll talk about what each part is as we go around. And then all these little marks right here, these glyphs, those are the planets in this case and the luminaries. But there's more than 20,000 that you can turn on that have different energies. These are the biggest ones.
Tell me all 20,000 right now. Go. Just
I,
kidding.
I mean, I there's no way I could do that, but I could name
How good
quite
are
a
you?
few, which is crazy.
I want to know for the truth.
It's so crazy. Like there's like dust clouds, and there's like there's mathematical points. There's all sorts of stuff. So
I'm joking.
these are the biggest things. We have the most particle entanglements with these objects. That's why they tend to be what we read in astrology, right? And even when I was doing like the whole cast and everybody's, I didn't put your generational planets in because y'all have them at the same spot pretty much because you're all so close together in
Yeah.
age, and they only change every 8 or more years. So
Okay.
that was what was interesting with y'all's cast.
Okay.
So these each bring like a little focus, all right, like an energy that we give them. And so they'll bring a focus with the personality of the sign that they're under and to the part of your life that it sits in. All right. So let's jump and get a little closer if it'll let me here. Let's see if it'll
Yeah,
let
I
me
do
do
have, by
it.
the way, I have a Gemini Venus, and Dayna has a Taurus Venus. What's up?
That's right. That's right. I don't know if it's going to let me zoom in now. Oh, yeah, I will. Here we go. It's going to. It's going to. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to start right here where we always start. All right. So now we're zoomed in a little bit so you can see it a little clearer for everybody because I know I'm kind of little. So you can see right here, there's the ascendant, okay, which is also known as your rising sign.
Mhm.
And what it means or represents is your first impression. So what people first see you as, and also how you first approach things. So Gemini is very expressive, right?
Mhm.
They talk a lot, you're with a Gemini, right?
Yeah,
But you
yeah, yeah.
also have a lot of Gemini placements. It's a lot of external expression, right? They process things. They soak up things and keep certain parts that they want and get rid of other things. So that's how people may see you as like the fun storyteller, right? When
Oh
they
yeah.
first get to meet you.
People love when I tell
Um,
stories,
yeah.
especially when I after a few shots. I be
So that, I mean,
talking.
that's what that indicates is like when they first meet you, you give off this like fun, hey, let
Yeah.
me tell you this story, or let's,
Right.
but it's also how you first approach things that you're not familiar with.
Yeah.
So when you like first run into something like, I don't know, like when you can play the keyboards, right? Or piano. Like when you first start doing that and you're just like, it just clicks for you, right? So there's certain things that like don't, and then there's these other things that just click for you, and that's because the Gemini wants you to try it, right? You want to have fun, so you like approach it with fun. Like this is interesting. What is it? Kind of tinker with it a little bit, and then if you get any pull to further, then you're like, yeah, let's go, right?
Yeah.
But if at the same time you're not feeling it, then you won't, So, like I was saying here,
Okay, because
this
I'm gonna ask you questions too
Oh,
because
please,
I
by
have
all means.
questions. Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. Not a problem. You can ask me whatever you want.
Okay.
So you just have to raise your hand sometimes because I'm just talking so much that I don't have any placements in Gemini. I do have it in my chart, but I don't have any placements.
Okay.
So your rising sign also what it indicates is the start of your chart. So remember how I told you this was the constellation that was rising in the east at the moment that you were born? Well, it is also your chart ruler and it rules the first house of self as well. Okay. So that means you're ruled by Mercury, all right? The planet of Mercury, which is the planet of communication, thoughts, things
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll
A
be
lot of
thinking.
people associate it with their sun sign. So, like, you might think that you were ruled by Venus as an example because you're a Taurus sun, but you're actually ruled by Mercury. So
Wow.
Mercury's your ruler, and then the self in general. Again, it's a storybook self, right? So you want to give off the impression you're fun, but you love a good story, like
I do.
that comes to how you've grown through things, like interesting things that you've had to experience in your life. And in fact, Cancer, while it does not rule this first house of self, the part of it's in there, so it gives some of its energy, right? It's not the ruler of that house, but it has energy in there, which indicates that you're going to have this deep emotional capacity for understanding yourself. So where you need to turn that a little bit is to forgive yourself a little more. You're rather hard on yourself. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So because that's Cancer in the first house, even if it touches it at all, it indicates like somebody who's pretty hard on themselves, like likes to nurture other people, but can be really hard on themselves personally. Okay. Now that being said, how we see which sign rules a house, like how we know Gemini rules the first house here, it's whatever sign hits the lead line of the house as we go counterclockwise. So the lead line for the second house hits Cancer. See that? So Cancer, again, that deep emotional capacity. Now the second house is the Taurin's native house, okay? And this house is about security, about luxury, possessions, things like that. So for you, actually having deep emotional capacity and sensitivity is something that you highly value. So it's
Yes.
something that you're going to look for in any kind of connections you have, especially in understanding yourself better and the things that you value. Because, when I say possessions, a lot of people think about like what they have physically, like these old coins or a house or something like that. But that's not the only kind of possessions there are. And you really appreciate understanding and people who can see that there are other things that are valuable besides just like things,
Yeah.
emotions,
Yeah.
love, even passion, all those things. Okay. Now, that being said, let's go over here to the third house. Okay, so the third house for you is ruled by Leo. All right, so Leo, as you may know, there's only one Leo on the show. That's Kyle,
Okay.
and that's the sun energy. That's Kyle's ego. Okay, but for you, it's actually the representation of how you think and communicate. So
Damn. So there's
Yeah.
more.
So in your case, now a lot of people associate Leos with being egotistic because they're literally ruled by the sun, which
Yeah.
is represented as ego in a birth
I'm
chart,
also
right?
I'm also a little entitled. I'll admit that. A little
Well,
entitled. I can be a little arrogant on Tuesdays. Just kidding.
not Wednesdays. That's today, right? No.
No. Yeah, Tuesdays.
But adoration is a huge thing for Leos.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to how you think and how you communicate, you're looking to gain the most adoration you can. You want to be successful at communicating the
Yeah.
best you can,
Sure.
right? And
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
willing to listen back, but you want it to be successful, and you want the other people around you to notice that you made the effort to do so. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? So you
Yeah.
actually want to be adored or like noticed for things that you've worked on, or like you've put something together that's perfect. That's
Yeah.
what you want, not just like, oh, you're so sexy or whatever. Not that you
Yeah, yeah.
hate that. It's just it doesn't get to you like a really good compliment that shows adoration on how you think and communicate. Like if
Okay.
people like it, or whatever it is happens to be.
Yeah.
Little teacher feel there, like a little teaching stuff in there.
Yeah, yeah,
um
yeah.
so let's
Okay.
go to I don't know what that means. I don't know if you have any teaching stuff you're doing, but there you
Teaching?
go.
You said teaching?
Yeah, that's what I was just getting, like a vibe
Yeah.
about teaching, so
I
that's
so I used to coach CrossFit and weightlifting for like 6 years, and I loved it. Like I love teaching like group fitness classes, and I like to like demonstrate a lot of things like so.
that makes total sense, because think about like not in a bad way at all, but like the peacocking that comes with being able to do that sort of thing, that's totally in a Leo area, right? It's
Yeah.
like, look at this, boom, look at this,
Yeah.
boom. Like
Yeah.
that's totally like, look at how I did this, and I worked hard to do it, so I would
Yeah.
like you to notice, right?
Yeah. For
That's
sure.
literally what it's saying. Now for
Okay.
some reason I have the fourth house, so like, but right here for some, I didn't even get the fourth house in here hardly. The fourth house, it would be a four right there. It's ruled by Virgo, I believe. Let me double check, because God knows if I get that wrong. It's so close that I want to make sure. It is. Okay. So it's ruled by Virgo. Okay. You can see it barely hits Virgo, like boop, right there.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, right on the cusp. So the fourth house is your house of home. Okay. So at home, you have Virgo tendencies, all right? Which means everything has a place. Go ahead. Did you have a question? Go ahead.
Oh no, no, no.
Oh, okay. So you kind of are like, all right, everything has a place at home, right? You also have at least one messy spot, all right? You know where everything is in that
Yeah,
spot,
like a
but
junk
it's like,
drawer.
yeah, like the junk drawer, or like the corner of the closet, something, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Virgos are known for their perfectionism. They're another earth sign like Taurus, okay? But they want to finish things. They like want to get to the end of the structure, right? So they're like, how can we make this more perfect? So you want people to kind of see your home is a perfect place, and what happens at home, how you have everything set up, how nice it is, how organized it is. Those are
Right, right.
things that you can take some pride in, right? Um,
That's true.
and your home life doesn't just mean like where you live, it also means where you feel at home. So it could also give you some anxieties about your home life, because Virgos tend to be anxious if certain things aren't exactly right. They don't feel as comfortable as they could at home, if that makes sense. All
Sure.
right.
For sure.
So
Speaking my
that being
language.
yeah. So that being said, here we are here. All right. So that's the end of the fourth house. I don't know why I cut it out by accident, I guess.
That's okay.
So here is the fifth house right here. Okay. The fifth house is about creativity and pleasure. All right. And yours is ruled by Libra. So Libra is the balancer, right? It wants to find fairness and justice and things. So when you do something creative, you want it to be not just for you, but also for others. I mean, you were just talking about how you teach in the class, but you like to work out, I'm assuming. I don't want
Yeah.
to, assume, but
Mhm.
it's definitely part of something that you do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you want to, if you're going to do that, how can you help other people by doing that for yourself? You can share that knowledge and that information, right? that's how you can say that, oh, I'm being creative in a fair manner, because it's not just for me doing the things that I love and find pleasure in, but I'm also allowing other people to join me in that venture. And that's
Yeah.
how I feel like it's kind of fair, you know?
Okay.
That's how you balance things out when it comes to your creativity and pleasure. Now, that being said, we go to the sixth house and we will finally be hitting a placement here. But it doesn't mean you don't, these are still valid. Placements are just giving energy. Remember, you could have placements in there because there's how many? 20,000 plus,
Yeah.
right? So we're just going to talk about these, that the big ones, but you still have, even if no placement, this is one of the most common questions I get asked. If you don't have a placement in the house, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything other than you don't have a placement in that house that's on right now.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by I don't have a placement in that house?
So, like, it's not at least one that's on that we have turned on. Like I said, there's 20,000, right? But see how there's no glyphs in there, right? And
What does
for the
glyph
first
mean?
5 houses, these little
Oh,
marks,
oh,
they're called
oh, okay,
glyphs,
okay,
right?
okay.
So,
Okay.
like, and they represent like the planets or
Yeah.
whatever we happen to
Something.
be talking about, right? In this case, planets and the luminaries of the sun and the moon.
Okay.
But that's what they're doing here. And so, if you don't have that, what I've just read to you is the energy you have in that part of your life, regardless if there's a point there or not. It doesn't matter. Points bring a focus, like a certain kind of
Okay.
focus
Gotcha.
to the personality that they're under and to the part of your life of the house that they sit in.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So when we look at this, I know it's a lot. It's a lot of info too. So
No, that's okay.
when you see right here, here's the sixth house. Okay. And the sixth house is ruled by Scorpio. Now, Scorpio is a water sign, and they're known for wanting to have the truth and nothing but the truth. So
Mhm.
help them, they will kill you. That's their energy, right?
Yeah.
So instead of it being like, hey, trust somebody until they give you a reason not to, in this particular area, which for you is ruling the sixth house, it's the emotional investigation of what you do daily, like your
Okay.
daily acts of service or your daily routines. You're very loyal to that, right? And you're
Yeah.
passionate about it, but
Yeah.
you're also very investigative. You can notice when something in your routine has changed slightly. That includes
Mhm.
other people who are involved in your routines. You
Yeah.
have a great gut instinct for that, and then someone's like, are you telling me the truth? Like, even if
Period.
it's just something stupid, but you have that lie detector,
Yeah.
which helps you with, during the day, something's off in your daily routine, right?
Right.
Or something's not right. You will feel it. That's where you will feel it the most. Okay.
Okay.
That's kind of your best shot for your gut check, if you will.
Damn, you're
And
on the money with that one.
nice. That's good, because I mean, who wouldn't like to have that? Like a little gut check for your daily activities.
Yeah.
Um, but it is intense as well. So you can be very intense in what you're doing every day. And that's kind of why you can notice a little tiny pebble of a change. So now we also have the sign of Sagittarius in here, and it actually is where the placement falls. Okay. So while Scorpio is the leader, that's the energy it's giving to your acts of service. I'm investigating them. I'm making sure that I'm getting my routines done with my intensity that I need to have. But also, I want to experience different ways of doing things, right?
Mm.
That's Sagittarius. It's about
Yeah.
experience, education, philosophies, spirituality. And so the placement that you have here is actually one of the generational planets. Okay. This
Okay.
is Pluto. So Pluto is actually the longest one. In fact, it just entered Aquarius, and it will now be there until in November of 2024, and it'll be there until 2044. So 20
Damn.
years. All right. So that's how long. So that's why most of you have it in this one. Some of you have it in Scorpio from the cast, the entire cast. But yours happens to be in Sagittarius. So what this means by generational planets, your generation, people who are close to your age that also have Pluto in Sagittarius. What's
Mm.
your generation role? Your generation wants to learn through direct experience, right? Again, philosophies, traveling,
And
like,
going on reality TV shows.
yes, because it's an actual experience.
Yes.
Seriously. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what Sagittarius's energy is. The difference between Sag and Gemini, sorry, Geminis, and I know, sorry. Uh, but the difference between them is Sagittarius is like when they learn something, they want to experience it either directly or learn from a person who knows exactly what they're talking about,
That's
right?
exactly how I feel. Like
And Gemini,
I'm not gonna take advice from somebody from like I'm not gonna take, you know what I mean? For
yeah, when
somebody
somebody
that's
just tells
not
you
really
something,
in
you're like,
that
what?
area. Yeah, why would I take
Where'd
advice
that
from you?
come from? Especially as a Taurus as well, a Taurus sun. Like what? But the for your group, that's what everybody's trying to do is like expand through the experience. But what's different is which house it falls in. Obviously, there's only 12 houses, so people are going to have it in the same house. But that shows your personal role for your generation, okay? And Pluto is about transformation. So this generation is trying to transform through these different experiences that you have, and your particular role is through your daily acts of service. So your routines are what you are helping to transform through
Yeah.
experience.
So that's
So
what it
like,
takes. My routines.
yeah,
Okay.
it's just that's how you feel like you like the repetitiveness of it. It may help you feel like you have experience, whatever that happens to be, right?
Want to say hi to the camera?
Yeah, say
Say
hi.
hi to the camera.
I was just about to talk about Gemini.
Hi.
Yeah. Get
Hey.
in the camera more. Get in the camera more.
Damn, girl.
That's all right. She's not gonna
You
get
got a
into the
hookup
camera
going
without
on.
tripping over something.
Hi.
There's Dayna. Hey, Dayna. What's up?
Everybody, this is
Hi.
Dayna. Some of you don't know Dayna.
Maybe not.
So I was just reading about how she really is about experience and the difference between Sagittarius energy and Gemini energy. So it's a perfect time for you to pop in here because, as I was saying, Sagittarius energy is like I want to learn from experience and like directly. Whereas Gemini can be like, "Hey, how do you light a gas stove?" And you show them, and then the next day you're on the internet and they're doing a TED talk on how to light a gas stove. All right, that's Gemini energy. They learned, right? You probably have like a bunch of books that you've read 8 pages of, and now you're an expert. That kind of thing.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, and Megan, don't act like you don't have that same issue because you got plenty of Gemini.
We are actually, that's like one of the things we have in common.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have
like,
a Gemini stellium, Megan. So
Yeah.
yeah, you have a lot of that energy as well. So yeah, absolutely. So now we're actually going to go up here to the 8th house, or actually the 7th house, which is the relationship house. So no, it's okay. You have Sagittarius ruling it, which means you want to experience things like, I don't know, go on a reality show that has to do with relationships.
Yeah.
That's a direct experience of it, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have any placements in here, but you do have Capricorn, which is also taking up a big part of it. So the main focus is your experiences. You want to be able to experience different kind of connections. This is not just romantic, though. This is a bunch of different kind of long-term family, how you work through with your family, with coworkers, with friends, okay? And it's because you base a lot of these relationship interactions off of your previous experiences, right?
Yeah.
But what's also coming into play is Capricorn here. Okay, so Capricorn, I'm a Capricorn sign, but also another Earth sign. Okay, and this is the initiator of structure. So once you've established that through your experiences you can do that, or that's a good relationship to build on, you will start or begin or initiate structure of that relationship. That's literally what it's saying. But you need to make sure that you've experienced enough with that person in order to proceed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
So
exactly how I am.
yeah, like even like the show helped.
Yeah.
No matter, it's kind of one of those things where it's like no matter what happens when it comes to your experiences in life in general, but then to put yourselves under a magnifying glass, which bless both of you for having to even like for doing that. That's hard. And then everybody's going to have something to say about what happens when we're seeing 1/1 millionth of your life.
Yeah.
So that's like you can't always trust all that stuff, and especially just the compatibility in general, which we can talk about if you would like, but and especially between you and Dayna, if Dayna wants to see, I can talk about that and show you like how the differences and what helps you to connect and why it works, right? And why some situations don't work. They might seem like they work and then they don't. There's a reason for that. So Capricorn right here, by the way, is ruling your 8th house, where you also have a stellium. Okay, so a stellium is a chart pattern, okay? And what it means is when you have 3 or more points, so these 3 right here, and they're in the same house in this case, or they're in the same sign, okay? Which your Gemini one is, all right? So here it happens to be split between Capricorn and Aquarius. But what do you have here? Okay. And this might be a little difficult.
I
this
got
might
my
be
8th house loaded.
Yes, but this
My
might be
8th
a
house
little.
ain't got no
There's
more
some
room.
good. There's good and bad in this, okay? And that is like you have Jupiter in here under Capricorn, all right? Which Capricorn is the CEO. That's kind of their thing, right? Like I said, they're the initiator of structure. So that going from this power couple feeling, right? Wanting to have that feeling of being, once you've experienced yourself, you're a power couple, and then you move into the transformation area, okay? The rebirth area, the occult, things like that. Because now it's about how do you step into your power.
Yeah.
And for you, it's about being efficient and effective. This is Jupiter, okay?
No, that's true.
Jupiter is the planet of expansion and your luck, all right? So having it in the 8th house means that the more efficient and effective you are, especially during transformation times, which we're going to talk about a big one that's happening for you right now, astrologically. We're not there yet. We'll get it. It's up there. So we'll get to it. But so Jupiter expansion is luck. So having in Capricorn means you're very efficient and effective in stepping into your power. Like you're good at making a goal and going from A to B, like getting it done, right? You don't want to have to, like, Capricorn energy is this meeting could have been an email. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. So in that sense, you have very good luck at stepping into positions of power when you need to. It's not saying you automatically are, but that you have the ability to. And the more energy like that you put in, the more you will expand as a person. Now, that being said, the other two here are both in these are both. Sorry, I saw somebody ask a weird question. I was going to answer. I got focus. I have to focus. Focus. Because I'll get off track. I have ADHD as it is. All right. But my girlfriend is in here. Ty. Thank you, Ty. So she's doing moderating for us today.
Thank you, Ty. Nice to meet you.
She's gonna die right now. We're Polly as well, so any of that is allowed to be said and welcome. So. She's probably blushing in the other room right now. Aww. So it's okay, man. That's fine. Like, you just can enjoy that. Like, that's the other thing I want to tell you about the two of you. So I'll get to that in a minute. But so the other two here are the generational planets. This one is in Capricorn still, and that's Neptune. Okay. So Neptune is the planet of intuition and dreams. So again, your dreams are very efficient and effective. I had this idea. I'm going to transform to get there. Get out of my way.
Yeah.
You know? And if you feel like anybody tries to stomp on the brake for you, unless they have a good reason, or, you know, like they're going to help you be more efficient about it, then they're not helping. Okay? And you want to just take care of that on your own. Now, that being said, the other placement that's here is under the sign of Aquarius. Okay? So Aquarius is the alien of the zodiac. They're literally the aliens, right? And that's because they're like the island of misfit toys a little bit. They don't do anything that's typical, right? Like, oh, you should do this. No, I don't. I don't need to do that. Not to mention that its ruler is what is in there for you, okay? This is your planet of rebellion and change. Okay. And it is the ruler of Aquarius. So you have some weird stuff going on in your transformations, but I would like to say that also having Jupiter here, because this is the house of sex as well. Segs, I said segs. Yeah. Having Jupiter in there, just saying. It's a sex god placement-y kind of thing. Okay, having Jupiter in your 8th house because it's a power thing, and so if you can expand when you have your moments of power, during those intimate times, that could be an indication. Also, that you're not necessarily doing things like everybody else does them. I mean, there might be a few things here and there, but you want your own unique flavor and spin to things, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not going to do it just like everybody else. That's dumb. That's silly. Why would I do that?
I like
And
to
then
write
you
my own
also have,
story.
yeah. Well, that's what this is. This is your birth chart, which basically tells your story, right? Or like the makings of who you are as a person. It's up to you to do what you want with them after that, right? So up here, you can see that Aquarius, that weird little, island of misfit toy, the alien, is ruling your ninth house of experience. So when it comes to different experiences, travel, philosophy, or educating yourself, right? This is still an air sign like Gemini. So there's still some back and forth, but Aquarius is the hardest worker out of the air signs, okay? But again, they're not typical. So you might find the way that you learn things is not like typically from, like, maybe I didn't learn from a professor, but I learned from somebody who actually grew crops in that field, or I actually learned from the person that changes shower heads. You know what I mean?
Unconventional. Yeah, just like whatever.
Like they're not necessarily like a doctorate and blah blah blah, but I learned things from them, or they've experienced things that I've been able to learn, to work with. So that's what that indicates for you there in that ninth house. And the things that you experience are very unique and different. You're not matching. People are maybe even confused by that in some way, but that's their problem, not yours necessarily. Other air signs are easier to remember, or easier to do that. Go ahead. Yeah.
So for my 8th house, you said the 3 is stellium. So what would you say is my top 3?
What do you mean? Like it's the three placements, because they all have energy. They're focused in a small area. Right. So it has a lot of energy towards the 8th house itself in this case, not just the signs, but the 8th house, because there's 3 powerful, like whatever their powers happen to be. So rebellion, intuition, and expansion. And they're focusing on this part of your life, which is power and transformation. Okay. So that's what a stellium indicates. It indicates more power, more focus into a smaller area, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah? Is it like long lasting, or is it like...
It's forever. This never changes. Your birth chart never changes. The everyday chart changes, but your birth chart never changes. Okay? Yeah. It just gives you But that's like when people are talking about, when they're talking about, my Mars is conjunct with Mercury in retrograde right now. They're talking about their birth chart as indicated with a different time frame. It's similar to like synastry charts, kind of, where you put them on top of each other and look at them and align them by signs. And that would be how you as a person are getting along during that time. Right? So that's how we can do it. Do those calculations anyway. Now, right here, you can see this is MC, right? MC stands for medium colon, which is it's your midheaven. Yeah. It's Latin for top of the sky, but look at you, huh? There's some true queerness in there if you know anything about astrology, as it's our religion. So, as we say, our spirituality, I should say, my bad. So here is the 10th house, and that's where your MC always sits in everyone's chart. And this is Placidius Western Tropical Astrology, for those of you that want to know and understand what the heck I just said.
I don't know.
If they know, they'll know what I'm talking about, because people want to know which one I'm using. So if you know, you can look. But Pisces is your MC. Now Pisces is the oldest and wisest of the zodiac. Okay, so wait,
how do you know it's Pisces though? Because if
it's 0 degree Pisces, it's so hard to see. But that's why I have my page up of your chart, and I can scroll down and look, and it'll tell me exactly what degree it's at, so I know for sure. Okay. But also the fact that so Pisces it's literally 0 degrees. Damn. Okay, so it's right at the beginning of Pisces, but it's not placed at 0. The MC is placed at 0 degrees. Sorry, which it does indicate a discovery in your life journey. So because it's Pisces and MC, it's kind of like this intuitive achievements. All right, because the 10th house is your achievements, your goals, your career, things like that. So you're very intuitive about it. Don't let people knock down your ideas, but also make sure you stay grounded. As a Taurus sun, you probably don't have too much of an issue with that.
Right.
But having Pisces as your MC indicates you're kind of all over the place when it comes to wanting to achieve things, because you don't want to tune down what you can dream of, right?
Sure.
You want to be able to dream big. And then you just have to be able to put the structure behind it and build on it. That's how you'll achieve your goals and things like that. But you'll have more ideas of what that is than other people may tend to have.
No, it's true, especially with everything going on right now. It's like everything's all over the place and you're trying to just,
like breathe. Really. I mean, I know I seen y'all were doing you did some stuff for her, the dating app, which is where I met my partner, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Tomboy X, which I wear every day. And I got them on now. I'm not going to show you all. All right. But this is made for Indian people under 18. There are no hidden cameras in here, as I know. I'm just kidding. And also I saw that you all are coming to Boycott in October.
Yes.
So you probably, I don't know if you talked to Audrey directly or whatever, but that should be interesting to see y'all out here in October. Yeah. So maybe I'll actually leave the house because I rarely do.
You better come. You and your partner.
But I might come and I'll bring Ty and maybe we'll come and hang out with y'all at Boycott.
Bring Ty and say hi.
Yeah. I'll try. We'll see. Okay. Okay. Oh, we got to go to this side now. Here we go. So there's your Pisces finishing off that 10th house right there. And in fact, I believe that your Saturn is in there. Yes, it is. So Saturn is right here in Aries, okay? But it's still in that 10th house. So it's barely in the 10th house, okay? And it happens to be in Aries. So Aries is the youngest of the zodiac. They are quick to act, right? But they also have youthful energy. So that can be really fun, all right? So Saturn being in Aries for you means that you are currently in your Saturn return. Now, it just started. So it happens for 2.5 years. All right. Wow. It means it's when Saturn returns to the same spot it was, or the same sign that it was when you were born. All right. Now, most of the folks on the show, I think only a couple had their Saturn return before the show started. And the majority were having it during, while you all were filming, more than half the cast is going through their Saturn return. It's crazy. Wow. And then a bunch of you are now having it after the show. So it's crazy because it takes so long for them to film, and then by the time it comes out, right?
Yeah.
So
what is Saturn return? Was going through it during. That would be so interesting to know.
Well, I mean, I can tell you who wasn't, but Kyle and Haley, you were oldest. So it goes by age. Basically. So the people who were already done before they started were Haley and Kyle. They were done. They'd already been through their Saturn return. But the rest, the majority of you, I'd have to look at my little cheat sheet. But anybody who had it in Pisces, Dayna, I don't know if you have it in Pisces or Aries.
I'm the youngest one from the cast, so probably. Yeah.
So you probably have it in Aries.
There's the baby.
Oh.
Yeah. She's a baby.
So you're both going through your Saturn return then, which can indicate basically what it is it's your big kid pants. You got to put on the big pants, right?
I thought you were gonna say we're fucked.
I mean, just a little bit, not too bad. No, that's what people always think about with Saturn, because Saturn represents restriction, right? But that can also get you the results you're looking for. So you have to remember that it's about results. And during your Saturn return, things will be removed from your life. Either you're going to do it or the universe will do it. But things that are no longer serving you will be eliminated from your life.
Okay.
Sometimes that's actually people. Sometimes it's just other things like hobbies or other things you've thought about that are no longer serving you, right?
My bun is having fun.
You were in some serious bun control was happening right there.
Oh yeah.
Because yours being in Aries, the particular area that it's going to be done is you'll see a lot of it happening around the things that you want to achieve is where you're going to be feeling the restriction. I feel like I'm losing people that I need to connect to. but you're not. You're losing the wrong people.
Exactly. I'm let go in
Okay?
the weight so I can pull in the new. The new.
That's right. That's right. That's the opening of the new door, right? So that's exactly what it means or indicates for sure. What Dayna's is in yours is also in Aries, but in the ninth house, Dayna. So yours is going to be more focused about your experiences and travel and education. So it's going to be that particular area where you're going to feel the restriction the most, but also the best results or the biggest results. So probably after this, you'll be like, oh, let's just go travel, and like you'll feel lighter. Okay. During Saturn return, it feels kind of heavy, but then you feel lighter, like a bunch of things have been knocked off your shoulders, you know? Okay. So that being said, when we go into the 11th house, which is ruled by Aries, okay, now this is your social house. So totally when you go out, you turn on like a switch. You're like, and now we're out. So let's have fun. We're going to have fun. Let's do all the things. The shotgun approach of Aries, like I like to call it, right? Like, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. And if it doesn't work, you move on. If it works, it's like, haha. And if we hadn't tried it, we never would have known. Okay. Right? That's Aries energy. And in fact, you have Aries ruler of Mars here. Okay? So Mars is your drive, or what I like to call your top energy. Okay? So
top energy.
Your top energy. Everybody has top and bottom energy.
Okay.
It's whether or not it's activated or how you use it.
I don't disagree. I just was confirming if we were on the same topic.
yes, we're on the same topic. All right. Dayna is a Gemini sun, Leo rising, Libra moon. Somebody was just asking, so I wanted to make sure that y'all heard that. So what's interesting about that Mars there is because it's in your social house, you are driven to drive social crowds. So I actually can see you doing something that's more social than you're currently doing. Like that teaching thing I was talking about, you said you used to do classes, but this seems like something different.
Like what?
And it has to do with entertaining. Something that you do social, like, I'm not saying like half the cast are DJs, but I'm not necessarily saying a DJ, but something like that. Or
so we actually are opening up. Dayna and I are
starting a business.
Yeah, we're starting a business together. We're starting a business together, and we're going to be doing events. And like it's coming up real soon in Detroit.
Okay.
So
you're gonna do well in that, because that's your drive.
You said we're doing well. We're doing well. That's it.
Not to mention, all I have to do is tell you, and you both are going to believe that, and then you are going to do well because it's about intention. Not to mention that Dayna has her MC in Taurus. So literally her ambitions are in what your ego is. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And that's what I was talking about when I was going to do more of the compatibility thing, which I can show you in a second. Weird. But the fact that and she has like a stellium in the 10th house and everything. So Dayna, a lot of work ethic. Yeah. And that's where her Gemini sits. Taurus and Gemini are. So she has a lot of Taurus and Gemini energy as well, but it's around ambitious things. And again, Gemini is ruling her 11th house, which is, again, Gemini is the fun one to go out with and be social with. So you guys are going to do really well with that. Those are the two most fun kind of signs ruling that house, you know?
Okay.
Now, on top of that, your sun is in here, okay? Now, you can see it's very close to Aries, so you're only, I think, a 1 degree, right?
Yeah.
1 degree Taurus sun.
I'm right on the cusp.
So the very first degree is 0, all right? So you were actually born 1 day, 18 hours, and 33 minutes into being Taurus.
Wow.
So pretty close, right? But
I made it.
I made it.
That's all that matters.
So if you had been born like, the day before, you might not have been a Taurus. You might have ended up being something else. An Aries maybe. And you probably can feel that energy, especially since you have Aries very, like right next to it. And you have Mars, which is Aries ruler. Lots of Aries energy in this house. But Taurus sun, now Taurans are known for being stubborn, right? Yeah. We all know that. That's like the first thing people say. But also about you want value, right? So again, in the social atmosphere, your ego is seeking out value. Like, what do I value about this? And it's also going to be like, I want people to enjoy it. I want it to be an event, but also like a lounge, cool place where they can relax and feel safe, because that Taurus energy is about that, right? You're about like, I'm going to go work hard and do what I need to do. And then I want to come home, have a bubble bath and my snacks. Okay. And relax.
Bro, I will tell you, I love bubble baths.
Of course you do. You're a Taurus.
On deck. I love them. If I'm having a bad day, you catch me in that tub.
That absolutely, and that makes total sense, because Taurans are about that. They're luxurious, right? So they're also hard workers because they're about structure and luxury. So they're the I always call them like the Chandler Bing energy from Friends. And y'all are so young, I don't even know if you know anything about Friends, but Chandler has this weird job that nobody like actually knows what he does, but he just goes and he works hard all day and then he comes home. That's Taurus energy. Like, nobody knows what the heck you're doing. You're out there just working your booty off and getting it done. You don't need to, nobody else needs to worry about it. You're doing what you need to do.
I agree.
Now when we go here into the 12th house, you will see the 12th house is ruled by Taurus. And the 12th house, it's your house, or the part of you that has to do with your intuitions and dreams, okay? So it's also secret enemies as well that you have to look out for. Interestingly ruled by Taurus.
Wait. I gotta look out for secret enemies?
Well, yeah, I mean, we all have it. Whatever rules our 12th house, because it's our intuition and dreams, people have the ability that, like, whatever happens to rule that house, and even the placements that are in there could, but mostly the ruler of that house, it can indicate that it's a love-hate thing, right? It's like, as an example, I have a brother who's a Scorpio. Scorpio rules my 12th house. And we used to be really close, and now we don't even talk. We can't stand each other. And he's a Scorpio. That's my 12th house. I like to date Scorpios. I even used to like kind of seek them out because, like I said, I'm poly. But now I've stopped doing that because I finally realized that sometimes Scorpios and I are not the best match because, it's not good for me. For them, it's great. For me, it might not be so great. So, and so having Taurus energy in that 12th house at all, it that's just what it indicates. Now, you're a Taurus, so that at the same time, it doesn't mean you hate yourself or that you're your own enemy, although it could mean that. So, and when you look at that Cancer in the second house, it could also indicate, because Cancer is deep emotional capacity, second house is value, right? Taurus is native house. Yeah. So that's what that can indicate as well. Take care of yourself too. You're allowed to spoil others, but also include yourself in that, right? Have more baths, more bubble baths even. Now, the planet that you have here in this 12th house of intuition and dreams, you actually have 3, which means what? You have a 12th house stellium.
Damn.
There it is. So having this 12th house stellium indicates you have a greater focus on your intuition and dreams, okay? And here's the tools. And this is Mercury, how you communicate. It's under Taurus, which means you communicate in a secure manner, a structured manner. And you want it to also, be like, get the point across, but not be too like over the top. Just get done what needs to get done in your communication. And you use your intuition to be able to do that. So you can give a very structured response to something, right? Okay. Now, the other 2 that you have here are in Gemini. Okay. And so this is your moon, which represents emotion. And here is Venus, which represents your bottom energy, right? Or what you
bottom energy.
There it is, bottom energy. Here's Megan's bottom energy.
Strong bottom energy. No, I'm just kidding.
But let's just say Gemini moons in general, y'all are nuts, okay? You're crazy. Now listen, all of us are crazy. So I don't want anybody saying any other shit about that.
Listen, you ain't gonna tell me I know I'm crazy.
Because it's all about whether or not your crazies match.
And I like it.
Okay? Because we're all crazy. Your crazies match, it works. You're compatible. That's just how it goes, okay? But having your emotion, or that's what the concentration of the focus of emotion in Gemini, indicates that there's a lot of ups and downs. So emotionally speaking, you can literally think or have a dream, and when you wake up, you're like, it literally, the feeling sticks with you from a dream, right?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where you're connected to it. And you have duality to your, like, you can be really happy about it 1 second and then not happy about it at all. And that's because there's a lot of things that are interfering with how you're thinking at that moment, because this is your house of intuition and that's your emotions, right? And under Gemini, again, storyteller duality, right? So you have some of that, but also with Venus here, okay? Venus is, again, your bottom energy or your surrendering energy. So you need someone who is able to tell your story better than you.
Okay.
Like a Gemini, as an example.
Really?
Because with Venus being here, that indicates that you need somebody to know the story better than you, or to have read 8 pages instead of the 6 pages you read out of the book, things like that. Somebody who's just a little bit up from you in your vulnerability. So then you can be vulnerable and surrender to them. Otherwise, you don't feel like you can be. You'll be very guarded unless they understand your story, right? Okay. So the more they understand you, or the more they care to try to understand you, the more that speaks to you and allows you to be vulnerable and surrender to other things. All right?
I do like when Dayna tells my story, because she has a good way of explaining it.
And probably because she's had a ton of Gemini too.
I just sit back and I am the bottom that I am.
Well, actually,
the bottom that I truly am.
Dayna is a Gemini, has a Gemini Mars as well. So her top energy is where your bottom energy is, which is pretty interesting.
Wait, say that again.
My top energy.
So
bottom energy.
Yeah, her. Yeah, so she has Mars in Gemini.
Okay. Okay.
So you actually have
there, and then it all fits together.
Yeah, basically. Basically, I mean, of course. Like if we go back out here to your thing right here, you can see the ascendant is also in Gemini for you. So you also have a Gemini stellium.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Yeah. So which brings more focus to Gemini itself, right? Yeah. So again, more storytelling, more storybook, understanding the story, living a storybook lifestyle, whatever that means to you, right? Yeah. So let's talk about you and Dayna's chart together. I mean, like, why not?
Wait, okay, I have a question for you though, real quick, before we go through that. So when it comes to like logic versus feelings, is there anything that you could say about that based off of my chart? Because I feel like
versus feelings.
Sometimes like I have issues, my logic and my feelings just conflict, or sometimes it's just like oppose. That it's like sometimes I have issues with them lining up. I do have logic.
Yeah. It's not that you don't have it. It's part of your growth and understanding. Yeah. So here's where Jupiter is, and to help you expand. So again, as you're transforming, and as you're stepping into your power in various things, because your birth chart isn't like you're in the first house, you're in the second house, it's not like that, right? It's more like a sounding board where you could be in the 5th house of something or the 12th house of something else in your life, right? It's more like that. So you could be feeling that right here where you're expanding, right? And also your dreaming and intuition is ruled by Capricorn, which is like, I'm a CEO. So like you're going to expand through doing efficient and effective work and structure. Right. And your dreams are fine, but they need to have grounding to them. So that's probably what you're feeling, is that push and pull. Not to mention also with the Earth of Taurus, because both the two of you have this. You both have Taurus and Gemini, right? So that's Earth and air, and they tend to not necessarily do well together, right? Yeah. But that's what they say in astrology world. But what is that based off of? Who they go around asking everybody? No. So what it actually can do is help ground that air energy, because air is about intelligence. It's very flitty. It wants to learn things. So like I was telling you, like Dayna's an air sign, so you might notice that she absorbs things. Like if new people come into your life, you'll see her take on certain things that they do.
Yeah.
And then she'll keep what services her or like serves her well, and then get rid of what doesn't. And that's how air signs like to work, is they kind of like absorb and walk through. Whereas earth signs like to find that structure. So you can be a little torn between those things,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And it's just a
100%.
matter of growth in your experiences, and that'll help with it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
okay. So do you want me to talk about both or just Dayna? Which I don't mind, but there's something I would like to actually
Dayna
say.
can do her queer astrology with you. I
Yeah.
want to know
Okay.
about
So your trial wife was Haley, and a lot of people had a lot of things to say about that, right?
Right.
And in typical astrology, the two of you look compatible if you don't know what you're looking at. It's hard to tell because it's so little on here, but the two of you have, I think, 6 out of these placements are in the same sign. Like literally, you're not on top of each other. So they're not necessarily conjunct, which means they blend energy. They're just close to each other. And this can actually indicate something we call a twin flame. Now, a lot of people think twin flames are like, ooh, no, that's soulmates. Okay. So the difference is soulmates, you're actually part of a soul group or pod, if you will. And so like people in your family, your friends, people that you love in general, you always kind of find each other again in the next dimension, lifetime, however you feel, right?
Gotcha.
But a twin flame should not find each other because they're actually one of the same soul, like from the same soul source, but not part of the pod. So what that means is it's actually you ignore the world when you're focused and end up destroying each other because you're not taking care of anything else. So it can be a very good thing to help you open up and see things about yourself that you didn't see before. And also, it might feel like, oh, it's kind of like the dating yourself feeling a little bit, right? Because that's the twin flame thing. That's how it can be created. So even though it looks like, oh, just by a few aspects, you may look and feel like, oh, they're compatible. But then when you look closer, you see all these similarities. It's like, whoa, they're almost the same person. Like in some ways. Obviously not. Nobody's ever exactly the same. Not even twins, right? So, that's a different thing. But just so you know, that's what I would call this. And that's what I would say about that situation in general. Now, when it comes to Dayna, what's interesting is you can see this opposition here. And this is more of what I see in more successful couples. Meaning that there's oppositions and what are you saying? What? Like what we're looking at basically here is that you can see these different aspects. That's what we call these lines. Okay. And each of them has an energy to them, like everything else in astrology, right? So when we look at them, it tells us how 2 points between 2 people in this case get along. When it's your birth chart, it's how your points within you work together. Okay. But when we're comparing 2 people, we take your charts, we lay them on top of each other and line them up by the signs. Okay. So then we can line them up and you can see like it starts outside edge here. So the outside edge are your placements and the inside edge are Dayna's placements. Okay. Now, again, you can see that a lot of them are the same. Okay. I didn't even put the generational planets on there because they're going to be in the same spot for everybody almost. So you can see here's that Gemini Taurus area. Look at that. And you guys have kind of the opposite placements in there, which means you'll find a balance versus stepping on each other's toes. Okay.
We always say that like my strengths are her weaknesses and her weaknesses or her strengths are my weaknesses too. Like we just kind of like
you kind of fill in for each other. It's like you're both individuals and you both have your individual energy as a person, right? But then your energies when they're interacting with each other, they should help. They shouldn't make you who you are. They should assist in who you are, if that makes sense.
Somebody said magnetic connection and attraction is often due to conjunctions. You have serious conjunctions. You have some serious conjunctions.
Yes, the 2 of you have 4 conjunctions actually. You have the sun, your sun, so your ego, and Dayna's Venus, so her surrendering energy. Okay, see that? And then your sun, so your ego again, and Dayna's Saturn, which is the results, restriction to results, which is actually is a very encouraging. That's where it's actually more each other, where you're both kind of encouraging each other. For you, it's your ego, and for Dayna, it's results. Okay. And then we look at your moon and sun are in conjunction with each other because you're a Gemini moon. So
Right.
your Gemini moon is in conjunction with her sun, which means your emotions are blended with her ego. So you know how to, like you know what she needs to hear sometimes, like things like that, right?
Okay. All right.
Not that she doesn't tell you, because
Yeah.
again, Gemini's folks, you know.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
reason why people hate on
It's
Geminis
really
a
what I'm
lot in
saying.
astrology in general is because they give us a lot of ammunition. Let's be real, okay? They talk a lot. So we get a lot of ammunition. The signs that
Yeah.
don't talk a lot, they don't get made fun of as much, but they can be way worse. We don't know, you know? Venus. So your Venus, your surrendering energy,
Okay.
and Dayna's ego are also in conjunction.
Okay.
So how you surrender and her ego, like how confident she is, allows you to relax, surrender a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Her confidence.
I'd be
So
surrendering.
yeah, you to also have your MC, so your ambition, and that is sextile. So that's where's the purple one right here? So that's sextile to Dayna's Saturn right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's your MC. And there's this
Yep.
little line right there. That's sextile, that little purple line. The sun is ego. Sorry, somebody was asking a different question. But you can see that they're sextile. This energy is cooperative energy. So your ambition is cooperating with Dayna's results, which gives stability and also a great work atmosphere for this relationship as well, which is why I was saying that thing about what y'all are going to do soon.
Yeah.
Now, you do have one square on here, okay? And that square is from your ascendant, so your first impression, okay? And then for Dayna, it's her self-expression through Jupiter, okay? So this is conflict, but also growth, all right? So
That's
in
the
your case, you can
yeah.
see that it can actually help both of you learn how to express more. But particularly, you will help Dayna learn how to express more because she may get nervous that she's expressing too much or too little. And you will happen to be like her grounding instrument for that in some
That's
cases.
so
Okay.
true. Mm-hmm.
Now, trine wise, so that's the green one that we have right there. Okay. And that's in sync with each other. The reason why they're in sync is they're usually in the same, what we call element. There are 4 elements in astrology: fire, earth, air, and water.
Mm-hmm.
So they all have the same baseline energy to them. Fire
Okay.
is passion, earth is structure, air is intelligence, and water is emotion. All right. So in your case, we have, what is it? So your sun, which is up here, right,
Yep.
is trining down here to Dayna's ascendant or rising sign. Okay. So when we look at that, that's a great way of showing inspiration for
So I
both of you.
inspire.
Again, both, yes, both. Like your ego inspires her. So how you react, and then also how her first impression is, how people see Dayna at first. It helps you to also, it helps your ego. Like it feeds your ego. You're like, that's right. That's my lady. You know, it's that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
That's what that gives up.
Yeah.
And then you have 2 oppositions actually. And one of them is Saturn opposing Moon. So your Saturn, so your results are in opposite of Dayna's emotions, right? So
Exactly.
what that indicates is it can be complex, but it also can be that there's results that Dayna is going through when Dayna's going through something emotional, the results that she's looking for, you can help with because it's a friendly tug of war. So it's almost like you're her sounding board. Okay. That's what that indicates. And then also your MC, so your ambitions is exactly opposite to her, or is opposite to her rising sign right here. Okay. So that is your ambition is pushing and pulling, the friendly tug of war, with her, what is it, the Libra? Libra rising? No, Leo rising. So with her adoration, first impression, like
Wait, I
being
think she's
adored
Libra
as a
rising.
first impression is something that Dayna likes. Just out of, she's a Leo rising.
Wait, I thought she's a Libra
I thought I
rising.
was a Libra.
No, you're a Libra. You're a Libra moon.
Hmm. You're right.
So you're a Gemini sun. You're a Leo rising and a Libra moon. So the Leo rising aspect again is the adoration thing. A lot of
Okay.
people associate it with ego, but it's actually that first impression. She wants people to adore her or give her adoration for something she's done well, right? So, and that's also how she'll first approach things. She wants, I mean, loyalty and a lot of loyalty behind that, right? So, fiercely protective and loyal. That's a Leo's energy.
Yeah.
So, if you give them adoration, in turn, you get their loyalty. That's how that works, basically, you know? Yeah, and having a Libra moon is also another air moon, like you have a Gemini moon. But Libra, it's hard to make emotional decisions or balancing your emotions, Dana. It might be difficult sometimes. So just because you want it to be, it's like, is it fair that I'm upset about this or not? Literally. So yeah, that's kind of some indications there of your big three as well. And we all know about what Gemini suns are.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Just
don't need to
talk
get
and
into
talk.
that.
I had to give you a little, all right, you know? Uh, but there's a lot of people in this season that have a lot of Gemini placements in general. So even people who, I mean, you were one of three Taurans that was on there. Dana was the
Yeah.
only Gemini this time.
Uh,
So
yeah.
Haley being one and Mel being the other one, actually. And Mel is a triple Taurus.
Oh
Stuff,
wow.
burn, stubbornness, okay,
Wow.
but also very, it's a self-protection thing, you know. So that's what happens. Like everybody always sees what they want to see from stuff, including, you know, however the editors edit your parts of the show, how whatever they do with it, right? So that being said, I mean, I'm glad and I'm happy that both of you were on the show because now we know you exist. We know you're out there and you're still together and you're doing the thing, you know.
We're doing it. We're
Thank
trying.
you.
So listen, I appreciate you so much.
Do you have any answers to what I'm struggling with?
Yeah, sure. Let me just pull somewhere. No, actually,
Well, like
uh,
you know how you were telling me like, okay, what's
uh-huh.
currently happening, right? Like the transformation and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there anything that I should take into consideration that'll just like help me along the way? Like consider this or think
Yeah,
about that
what
or like
is
ground
serving
myself in a
you?
certain way, huh?
What serves you and what does not? Because you're going through your Saturn return. You're going to be feeling this for a while, for about
Wait,
2.5 years.
what about that?
So it just indicates an elimination of things that are not serving you in your life. So either you do it so you can help that process along in that sense if you want, where you start to look and like, is this really serving me? Do I need to be connected to this? Do I need to be a part of this? And what isn't helping you? Because as a Taurus, it's hard to let go of things sometimes, right? Because you want to feel secure. And when there's a lot of change, that can make you feel like something's not secure. Like we like even in the show when you came to the room and talked to Dana, you're like, I'm not sure I can do this.
Right.
That's kind of like a Taurus thing because it's you being like, I mean, I don't feel safe here.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm protected. Like when we're together, it would have been okay, but like when we're not, it feels
Yeah.
weird. I don't feel safe anymore.
So
You
you're
know,
saying you watched the show.
I'm like almost required, pretty much, right? So, like literally, as soon as it starts, it's like, what's this person's sign? I'm like, oh my god, can you give me a minute for them to even respond? But I appreciate you so much for joining me, and Dana, thank you for popping in and saying hi and joining us a little bit here. So go ahead and tell folks what y'all are doing. Somebody asked about more information for the October thing, and I can tell you all in Phoenix, Arizona, on October 4th, I believe it is, right? Yeah, at 9 p.m. These two will be at Boycott. Boycott is a lesbian bar here in Phoenix, and it's one of the only lesbian bars left in the country. And yeah, so go see them. They even have, I think they still have some VIP tickets available as well, where you get to meet them and stuff, you know? Get to like actually be in their physical presence with them. That's the October thing I was talking about. But now you guys say what else is coming up for you, what you've got going on, and where people can find
Oh my goodness.
whatever you need them to find.
Because I'm using my phone for the TikTok.
When's your first event that you were just talking about? Because you were talking about an event thing that y'all are doing.
We're in Seattle. So this is our last weekend before we start literally traveling every single weekend for 2 months, I want to say. But so our very first weekend will be in Seattle at the Monkey Loft.
Are you going to the Rose?
Monkey Loft.
Monkey Loft, yeah.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you what we got going on.
Okay.
All right.
So next weekend is Monkey Loft up in Seattle.
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
Next weekend, September 6th, is going to be at the Monkey Loft in Seattle. And then the weekend after, are we allowed to announce that one? Because I
don't know if we're allowed to announce that one yet. We'll just say we may be in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
We haven't announced it yet. It's still a secret, kind of, sort of, but
yeah.
All
surprise.
Right. But if you're in Rhode Island, heads up about that time.
In Rhode Island, keep
clear
an
your
eye
schedule.
out. We'll be announcing something soon.
That's right.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then we will be at Dayna Shore in Palm Springs, California, from the 25th to the 29th.
We also
don't forget your white outfit for Dayna. Okay, go ahead.
We also don't have an announcement yet for the 20th of September, but we potentially are going to be in Nashville. So keep an eye out for that weekend. If you're going to be in Nashville, just keep an eye out. We'll have some information.
There you go.
Phoenix from the 4th to the 5th, and then Atlanta on the 11th.
Yes.
Atlanta. Nice. Yeah. All right, so full schedule. Well, what about the thing that you all are starting? Like where are you guys starting this thing at? Like how can people find out more about it, or do we know yet? Or just follow you guys and pay attention.
In Detroit. So
okay.
We'll be coming out with that soon.
So this is our Instagram. It's called Dirty Matriarch.
Here, I can drop it in.
Yeah, and it's well, I just showed them the pictures real quick.
I see.
So,
and I can put it on when I bump this up to YouTube. I can put it on there as well.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I do know how to do Depke. Okay. So this is our little logo, Dirty Matriarch. This is us.
Okay, cool.
Photo shoot coming soon, and it's basically lesbian events in Detroit. So we're putting some stuff together. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be cool.
Are you gonna do like dating, like speed dating nights and stuff? You do like different theme nights, or
it's gonna be different things.
That's cool.
We may even do. It's gonna be a couple of different things outside of just.
We don't want to say everything.
Oh, okay. We can't tell too much.
We can't tell.
Megan wants to surprise.
I want it to be a surprise.
You could tell us, but you'd have to kill us. Is the problem?
Exactly.
Well, if I have to solve this,
if I tell you, I would have to block you.
The best way to do this is if you're curious about these events, just go follow these two, both on TikTok and on Instagram. And their usernames are the same on both, I believe. Both of you are.
Exactly. Yep.
From what I can remember. I can only retain so much info in this head, but
you're doing amazing. You're doing a great
job. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having us too. Dayna popped in for a little bit. And I appreciate you. Thank you for just like telling me everything and answering all my questions and just being so thorough. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. And I do readings as well. So if y'all are interested in my different services, you should go to that link up there, go to my page, click on my link tree, and you'll see the different services I offer there as well. I will be uploading this to YouTube. Next Wednesday, Marita, I'm going to have Marita on and I'm going to read her live. So stay tuned for that as well. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Everybody stay safe and take care of each other. Look out for each other because it's crazy out there right now. All right. Until next time, everybody. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Thank you.